All right, here we go with the Thursday, December 7th edition of the Carolina Weather Video. A lot of folks wanting to know about the snow chances across the region. The majority of the video will deal with that here, so just stay tuned. There's the Greensboro Tower camera this morning, cloudy and cool. The Dowd YMCA camera in uptown Charlotte, very much the same, clouds, but most of the precipitation remaining south and east of a lot of the Piedmont early this morning. There's your temperatures. The bigger observing sites in the 40s. There's a lot of 30s in some of the more outlying locations across the foothills and the Piedmont this morning, though. All right, so there's the radar. A lot of what you see here across the Charlotte metro is not making it to the ground. It's just some low clouds. But we do have this area of light rain that continues in eastern sections of North and South Carolina, extending down to the Gulf Coast region. And then the intensity and the coverage of precipitation really picks up back into Texas as this next area of low pressure is beginning to develop, and that low pressure will move from its current location in the northwestern Gulf to off the Carolina coast over the next 36 to 48 hours. A lot of cold air in most of the lower 48 as well, outside of Florida and the desert southwest and Southern California. It's pretty chilly rather this morning with a lot of cold air in place, and that's going to be a consistent theme over the next week or so at least. All right, so here's the setup. There's your low pressure in the northern Gulf of Mexico. This will provide snow into areas that are pretty far south, even northern Mexico and deep south Texas getting into that snow. Your temperatures will be cool across the Carolinas today. Low to mid-50s for a lot of the Piedmont zones, even some upper 40s here or there. Now, the Futurecast modeling really keeps this precipitation suppressed off to the south to tomorrow and tomorrow night. That is a possibility. I don't think it's the most likely scenario, but it's a possibility. On the other hand, something like this I think is more likely. Here's the European model, 2 o'clock in the morning. You have this area of light rain, and as we get deeper in time through the night and into tomorrow, we see more and more of snow mix in with this precipitation. And eventually, I think as we get deeper into the day tomorrow and tomorrow evening, it transitions to all or mostly snow in a good chunk of the Piedmont regions before that precipitation then draws to a close. And again, I'll show you the more detailed modeling in just a second. There's the North American model, kind of similar with its representation. All right, so snow potential. There's the European model, and again, take these numbers with a grain of salt. Just kind of showing you the footprint of rather where it tries to put down snow. And by the way, again, you go down to parts of Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, North Georgia, probably a little bit of snow on the ground with this system. But again, back home here in the Carolinas, there's what this particular model is printing out. And I'll show you all the detailed modeling in just a second and kind of the forecast factors I'm looking at. But here's what I'm thinking. And again, this is a generalization, not a lot of change from what I had yesterday. But in that blue shaded area, that's where you have the potential for a dusting to an inch of snow, mainly on the grassy and the elevated surfaces. And there could be a strip or two in here that picks up maybe 1 to 2 inches of snow if you see some heavier rates of snow. But there's some limiting factors here. You know, you're looking at temperatures near the ground that are going to be a little bit above freezing for most of this event. Ground temperatures initially are pretty warm too. And again, you might be dealing with more of a rain-snow mixture for a lot of this deal as opposed to pure snow. And so that's going to kind of limit snow amounts. Now, as the next piece of energy swings in, there'll be another shot of snow for the mountains coming up in the Saturday nighttime period. We could get certainly some decent snow accumulations up that way. Friday's highs, chilly across the region for sure. The system's gone on Saturday, but there's that next piece of energy that could bring a little bit of mountain snow. Saturday's high is definitely on the chilly side. By the way, we're not done with the cold air, and I'll get back into the snow potential here in just a second. That's big trough continues over the eastern part of the country, and so, for instance, here's your Greensboro high temperatures. Another shot of cold air due in for the middle of next week. But all right, let's delve into what's going on with this system. Aloft, here's the deal. All right, got to move all these things apparently. But aloft, here's the deal. Piece of energy in the southern branch, or kind of breaking off of this trough, I guess I should say, interacting with this northern branch piece of energy, forming that low pressure in the Gulf and moving it off to the Carolina coast. Now, the latest run of the GFS, a little bit juicier. I'll show you that here. Let me step you through that particular model. All right, so this is the GFS, the latest 6Z run. This is valid daybreak Friday. Okay, we go out then to the next panel, which is early Friday afternoon. And then Friday afternoon into Friday evening. We got to Friday evening into the overnight hours. And this is the period where the latest run of the GFS is a little bit juicier. This low pressure a little bit more defined closer to the coast here. And that's where you have a little bit more in the way of precipitation getting thrown back into the colder air in that Friday evening and Friday night time period than what you had on the 0Z run of the GFS. And then that system pulls away. This is even Saturday morning where you still have some precipitation around. So it has thrown the precipitation a little bit further northwest with its most recent run. The latest North American model, the NAM. All right, so this is valid daybreak Friday. We go out then to Friday early afternoon and then finally Friday early evening. And so you end up with a footprint of snow there on the, actually this is the 0Z GFS. Here we go. Here's the latest higher resolution NAM. There's its footprint of snow across the region. Now I showed you that latest GFS. This was the previous run of the GFS, the 0Z run, and then the latest one, again, when you have that precipitation extending deeper into Friday evening and Friday night, certainly more impressive with the snow potential across the Carolinas due to the longer duration of snow. And I can show you the European footprint of snow. Looks like that. And so, I think something like that is kind of what we're looking at, the potential for a slushy dusting to an inch of snow in basically the areas where you see the color contours here. Some limiting factors that just keep this from being a major event, but certainly could get the ground whitened in some Piedmont and foothill locations with this, but not a huge deal, but certainly kind of neat to get any potential for snow this early in the season. All right, that's it for the latest edition of the Carolina Weather Video. Thanks for watching. Have a wonderful day. Stay warm, and God bless.